This is my second video documenting areas around the park that need improvement. Today we're going to be looking at the caretaker's home. And while it may appear to look nice from the outside, there are quite a few issues with it that need to be addressed. First of all, the caretaker's home is actually a 49-year-old mobile home. It was manufactured in January 23rd in 1973. The deck of the caretaker's home could use a coat of stain on it. Around back, they replaced some beams that hold up the deck. There are a few cracks on the outside foundation. It doesn't look too bad from the outside, but once you get inside, there are a few problems that really need to be addressed. Down through the years, there have been numerous leaks throughout the sinks and toilet areas in the caretaker's home. Here we have the shower. And if you look down at the drain, you can see that there's actually a crack around the shower drain. That's led to getting some water into the floor. Here's a view from the basement. You can see how that particle board has been wet. Underneath the bathroom sinks, there has been water damage that has caused mold, as well as under the kitchen sink. Here you can see down under one of the sinks where it appears to have been where some mold has gotten down in there. Underneath one of the other bathroom sinks, there is a pot where it was catching water from where it had been leaking. Down behind the bathroom toilets in one of the bathrooms, there you can tell where there's been some water damage where the paneling has been splitting, and it looks like there's possibly mold back behind in some of those areas. So any areas where there's possibly some mold, that's a real cause for concern. We really need to have somebody come in and take a look at these areas and see what we can do to correct this situation. Down at the base of the shower, near the floor, there's areas where there were gaps that have been caulked, and some that haven't been, where water may have seeped down into the walls. So there's some various other problems around inside the caretaker's home. For instance, the living room, there are some ceiling tiles that are separating. There are doors that are splintering. There are gaps around some of the doors where they've tried to fill with caulk. There's a hole in the wall in one area. There are rusted vent covers in the home. There's areas that were never finished painting in some of the bathrooms. Here's another area that wasn't finished painting. So down in the basement, there are many cracks in the foundation. And actually, when it rains, there are different areas in there where the cracks leak water. When Don first moved into the caretaker's house, he had to go down in the basement and clean up a lot of areas where there was mold from the water reaching a bunch of wood and stuff in there. So it took him several days and a lot of bleach to clean that up. Here's some more pictures of just various cracks in the foundation and in the floor. There are areas where they tried to repair it with great stuff and different kinds of water sealant. But there are numerous areas in there where the foundation's cracked and there's decent sized gaps. Again, here are more cracks throughout the foundation. There's cracks at the seam on the floor. There's pretty good sized cracks where you can tell water has come in. There were big gaps around the doorway. You can see that they've been filled with great stuff to try to prevent the air and the rain from coming inside. So there's a couple different gaps around there. You can see we shined a flashlight through to try to show the various gaps around the basement. There are also many electrical problems down in the basement, a lot of hazards that make it not up to code. Here you can see several holes that are cut into the floor. I'm not really sure what it's for, but those are areas where like mice and stuff can get up into the flooring. Here you can see a lot of different wiring that's just strung throughout the basement. It's haphazardly hung here and there. Wires just going everywhere. None of it's run through conduit, it's just strung and clamped here and there. Here we have a sink, and then we have wiring above the sink, and it's not GFI protected. Here we just have various wires just hanging and coming out of holes. Here's a wire that's just wire nutted together and with some electrical tape wrapped around it. There's electrical boxes that aren't enclosed that are just attached to the ceiling. There's wiring rubbing the metal frame of the mobile home. That could be hazardous if it got worn down. Again, there's just wires hanging everywhere. None of it's run through conduit. Here you have some more wires that are just tied together with a string. Here we have wiring going through the wall, and it's not in conduit. Here we have conduit, and it's being held up to the beam with a piece of rope. Here we have conduit, but it ends, and you just got wires hanging out the end of it. You've got wiring running to the light outlet. Here we have more wiring coming out of the end of the conduit where it could be sliced or cut if it were removed. Okay, so what does this all mean? I mean, we found these problems. How are we going to fix them? Well, currently our 2022 budget for the caretaker's house is only $1,000. And our total carryover amount in our entire budget is only $930. We cannot allow our caretakers to live in hazardous conditions, so we'll be bringing in some contractors to get bids on fixing some things. Since we are on limited budget, we're going to have to attack the most severe things first. We can only continue to band-aid these problems for so long. This is a 49-year-old mobile home. It's time for us to start thinking about the future of the caretaker's house now. Perhaps we need to start putting more money away to invest in the future. If we want to continue to retain good, hard-working caretakers, we're going to need to invest some more money in better living conditions for them. I hope these videos bring more awareness to problems within the park, and I hope that perhaps they can help us raise more money to help prevent these problems and invest in our future. Thank you for watching.